What is going on, YouTube? We are back with another banger, and in this video, what I'm going to be talking to you guys about is why it's super important that you find fulfillment in the work that you're doing rather than just searching for that end goal. See, every time in my life when I've tried to get to an end destination and I've tied my why to the reward, it's always been this constant stream of I have to get to the end goal, and I eventually lose track of why I'm doing it in the first place. It's not as enjoyable, it's a lot more stressful, and it makes it so that I'm focusing so much on the goal that I'm not focusing directly on the work. And each and every time that I've switched that and I've started to fall in love with the process, not only do I enjoy the journey more, but I actually get more from it. I'm more present and I get better results. So, with a fitness journey, if you're trying to build muscle mass, as opposed to focusing on, the way you're going to look when you get there, focus on the person you're becoming in the process. Focus on feeling yourself get better, feeling yourself improve. Notice as your discipline starts to increase, as you hold yourself to higher standards, you're just going to feel better about yourself. Focus on that. Focus on learning. Don't worry so much about the end goal, because when you tie yourself directly to the end goal, it's going to take so much longer for you to get there, because each time you're doing the work, the steps necessary to get to the end goal, you're going to be focusing too much on the end outcome, and you're not going to be fully present to actually improving. And also, it's just not enjoyable because you realize when you get there, it's fleeting, right? So instead of focusing on building the physique that you want for external reasons as to how you're going to look or how you're going to appear to other people or how somebody else is going to think about you, focus on how you're going to feel, not from an external perspective, but how you're going to feel about yourself for being able to accomplish these things. And I think each and every goal I set up for myself, whether it be a large goal or a small goal, every time that I get caught up in the work itself, I end up enjoying the process way more and realize that it's way more rewarding at the end, as opposed to trying to focus on the end outcome, right? I'm reading a book right now, and I'm really noticing that, I'm on my ninth book so far in 2025, and I'm noticing that as I'm reading more and more, I'm getting so caught up in the process of learning and growing that subconsciously I'm just improving, right? Because I'm not focusing on consciously the end outcome so much. I'm just focusing on being present, conscious in the work, what I'm doing. And then, like, subconsciously, I'm just getting so much better, right? And in the past, I used to be reading the book, the different books I would read in the past. I would be focusing on when I actually finish the book, I'm going to feel fulfilled. And each and every time, what would happen is it would take me way longer for me to actually finish the book. And also, what I was reading, I wasn't actually processing and absorbing a ton because I was just focused on the end outcome. And I think it's just a good example because it's really so true with any goal. Like, each and every time in my life where I've tried to chase this fleeting goal of, like, when I have a six pack, I'm going to feel great, or when I, get jacked, I'm going to feel great. It was always this never ending cycle of, like, oh, when I get there, when I get to this look. And then it's like every day you're going to the gym and you're realizing that, oh, I'm almost there. It's good because you're setting high goals for yourself and high expectations, but you're missing the whole process. And each and every time in my life where I've really been dialed in with my fitness, I've been consistent for a while now, but I've had these ups and downs in a sense where, yes, maybe my downs are still much higher above, the average person that doesn't prioritize their health and exercise often. I still like to keep myself at a high standard. And so even like the low periods of my time, I'm still way above the average person. So I don't say that in an arrogant way, but truly, like, I just hold a high standard for myself with my fitness and my nutrition and my health. And so each and every time that I've been in a low standard, it's because I'm not prioritizing enough. And on the flip side, each and every time that I've been in the best shape of my life, it was always because I was focusing on becoming the best version of myself and, like, getting better. And it's like, oh, I know I can be better. And it's funny because I have, like, friends that don't really work out that much, or friends that are not as serious about their exercise and nutrition as I am. And I'll say things like, "Dude, I need to get back into shape. Like, I feel like I'm so out of it." And they're like, "Bro, what are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Dude." And then I realized, like, oh yeah, like, they don't really take it as serious as I do, and I had set these high expectations for myself, right? Which is a good problem to have, as long as you're not gonna get overwhelmed about it. But I think setting high expectations is good because it's gonna push you to the next level. My point, moral of the story with that is each and every time that I was in that tip top shape, I would always look back after the fact when I was starting to slip a little bit or I started to fall out of the routine and I was like, okay, time to crank up the notch again. I'd always look back and be like, dude, 2 months ago or a few weeks ago, I was really dialed in and I looked like on point, like my physique was really dialed in when I looked at the pictures, or I just thought back to the process of like me going to the gym twice a day, or doing sauna plus cardio. Not to say sauna is going to give you a better physique, but like just the process of me being really focused and dialed in, of going to the sauna, doing the cardio, doing the strength training, meal prepping, doing all these things. A lot of times, even working out twice a day and stretching, all these things, like exercising literally multiple times a day. I would always realize that when I was in the present moment doing the work, I wasn't feeling fulfilled because I was focusing a lot of times on the end goal. Like, I have to do this work because I'm going to get there and then feel good about it. And I realized looking back in retrospect that when I had the physique and when I was in the process of going, that was the best feeling because I felt so good about myself. But in the moment, I was focusing on the end goal. Now, there are also other times in my life where I was focusing on like just doing the work and falling in love with the journey. And I stopped caring so much about the end goal in the process. And then the end goal in the process of where I wanted to get naturally came closer to me and I had the results. So I just say that to say I've seen both sides of the coin. I've seen the point where I'm so caught up in the daily tasks and trying to be perfect that I take my vision off of the end goal, which is good because I end up naturally getting closer to the goal and achieving the goal and feeling good about myself, but also I don't feel super fulfilled with what I'm doing because I'm not appreciating how much better how much I'm improving, right? Which is a good thing. But on the flip side, I've also been at periods of time in my life where I've been, so focused on the end goal that I'm not keeping track of what's going on in the now. So it's good to have a mix, I think, of both. But I think most importantly, focus on A, finding a balance, but B, like just at least being appreciative of where you're at and not the results today versus tomorrow versus the next day, but like feeling yourself get better, you feeling yourself become more disciplined person, a more confident person. Because looking back, you're gonna realize that it's really the person in the middle, the process, the journey that's fulfilling. It's not the end goal.